Whether you're new to the first-person shooter genre or you've been grinding games like Call of Duty, Apex, or Battlefield for years, you've probably wanted to improve and get better at the game. You've watched countless videos on how to improve your aim, the best setups and loadouts, and you always watch your favorite streamers trying to learn something new. But like most things in life, eventually you hit a plateau and you struggle to break through. Now, I can't promise you the silver bullet that will instantly make you a top-level pro gamer, but what I can do in this video is show you a simple method I always go back to that has always helped me break through my plateau. When it comes to improving at first-person shooter games, it's actually pretty simple. Now remember, simple doesn't necessarily mean easy, but once you understand what you need to focus on, it does get a little easier because you know exactly where you need to focus your time and attention. Sometimes it can feel impossible and slow, so something I always remind myself is to go into every game or play session focusing on improving just one specific skill. You can't do everything all at once. And remember, if you improve just 1% every day, in 3 months time, that's a 100% improvement, and over the course of a year, that's a 400% improvement. There are really only 3 core parts of this improvement strategy, but first, we're gonna need a notepad and something to write with. Okay, now that we've got that, you're gonna write down these 3 categories: aim, positioning, and decision making. Improvement typically only happens when you start figuring out what you're doing wrong. So what we need to do is analyze each one of our deaths in game and sort out the reason into one of these 3 buckets. Your aim, position, and decision making are really the only reason you lost a gunfight or died. Now, there are a few exceptions to this rule, like maybe you rounded a corner to someone camping with a shotgun, or you walked out of your spawn to a grenade that was perfectly timed and exploded instantly, or worst of all, there's a player that's just blatantly cheating. But in 99% of situations, you lose the fight because of one of these 3 categories I just mentioned. It's easy to complain about the game, your internet connection, and to make excuses, which is fine if you're happy doing that, but you likely clicked on this video to get better. So from here on out, you have to take 100% accountability and learn from your mistakes to get better. Later in this video, I'm going to show you what I do to improve in each category and break them down into smaller sections, but before we do that, I want to jump into a gameplay of mine and go through the process with you and show you guys where I'm struggling myself. If you want to skip ahead, there will be chapters in the video. I find it helpful to keep track of this over the course of a few games instead of just one, to help smooth out any differences between my performance on different maps or against a variety of different enemies. But for this video, we're going to keep it short, to the point. I'm just going to go through one gameplay. Alright, so we're on xdefiant on the map Liberty, and this was actually just my first game on I recorded because I didn't want to give myself the chance to warm up and kind of start playing too good. Hahaha. Yeah, I wanted to make plenty of mistakes to kind of point out and show you guys how I do this. So we got someone that's kind of ratting in the corner here. We play our cover, throw the grenade, try to flush him out. Get no hits on it. So maybe he left. Looks like we're all clear. Ooh, got that kill, a little shaky. All right, so right there, if you guys notice, when I popped my heal, I actually didn't wait for my character to get back to full health, and I re-peaked that. So that's gonna go in the decision-making category. And that person had the, I believe, SVD. It's a marksman rifle, and he clearly easily took me out in 1 bullet. So just again, if I would have waited 1.5, 2 more seconds, I maybe would have gotten away with that kill. Nice easy kill. He was low health. We played our cover. He was out in the open. Catch this guy in the back because he's not paying attention. Ooh, guy jumps out, catches me off guard. That's gonna go in the aim category. Clearly missed my shots there. Definitely could have gotten that kill if my shots were on point. See him. All right, so right there, I look to the right, see 2 people. One of them's got a sniper. Probably a bad idea to stand there and challenge that, especially when you can't shoot them both at the same time because they're not on top of each other. So that one's gonna go in the decision-making category. Nice easy kill. Getting a little rough with the aim. Wow. Full bend and a half, xdefiant. So right there, I'm gonna put that one in the decision-making category because I could have backed up to cover and popped my heal instead of running straight to the doorway. Oh, maybe 2. We're gonna pop our heal. We're basically back to full health. Take out that one. Just missed my shots there. That would have been probably an easy kill if I would have hit my shots. Unfortunately, he landed a headshot with the marksman rifle, so he took me out. But that one's gonna go in the aim category. Teammate body blocked my shots there. Thanks, buddy. All right, so we miss half of our shots. Miss basically all of our shots. Miss all of our shots. And at that point, it's too late to get back into cover. So, I mean, we're going to put those gunfights in the aim category. So he drops his mag barrier. We're going to back up, see if we can time a grenade perfectly. Looks like we get a hit marker, but it's not clear. Yeah, it looks like we got it. Come in and take the kill. Picked one of them off and we healed up. So we're going to play our cover. He's got a sniper. The second you see that sniper glint and he's pre-aimed at you, you need to just get into cover and find a way to back out of the fight or find another way to challenge him. So that one's going to go into the decision making. We'll try another vert nade. Just dumb decision making. Out in the open, pushing back. You know, we already know there's people pre-aiming that corner, and it looks like I'm doing it again. See, again, he's ready for me because I keep coming back. Terrible decision making. If you guys die to a camper or somebody holding a lane, don't continue to re-challenge him, by the way. They're ready for you. They know that you're coming, and I'm doing it again. And there he is. Now, I think I could have taken him out if I would have hit my shots. So, we'll, you know, we already have enough in the decision making. We're going to put it in the aim category for that. But here we go again. See, there we go. Yeah, this time I actually take the right way to approach this. Take him out. We got one. A little shaky on the aim still. Wow. Probably would have lost that gunfight without my teammate there. We'll go ahead and just mark one down in the aim category. Thankfully, he's got a sniper and missed his shots, but again, a little bit shaky on the aim. Just like I said last time, guys, if you see a sniper scope, if you see a glint and he's pre-aiming you, just don't peek it. Don't challenge it unless you have a sniper. Then maybe, but it's just so dumb of me to peek that. Really bad aim there. Got away with it, but like I said, in my defense, this is my first game on. I just recorded. A little better on the shots there. Back up, reset, reload, heal, everything before we challenge again. Much better aim. Okay, so we pick off one. I kind of panic a little bit. See two there, run out of ammo. Drops his mag barrier, so we're going to immediately back off. Reload. And, you know, take the gunfight on our terms. If he wants to push out of the mag barrier, then that's fine. We can take the gunfight that way. But other than that, we're just going to wait for it to go away. He apparently forgets about us. I walked by someone and then I didn't even see there. So thankfully they're not playing. They just started playing. There we go. Kind of scared both of us. No idea where that guy came from. He actually popped up on the mini-map there. So we'll go ahead and put that death in the decision making. Just because we didn't check our mini-map. That one's really bad aim. You know, overall, we got a little bit better throughout the game. We went on a 9 streak there at the end. Okay, 26 and 14. So again, first game on, a little bit rough starting off. First half, not so great. As the game went on, you started to see that I realized I was making bad decisions, re-challenging bad fights, and ultimately it was learning throughout that game. It looks like for me, the #1 reason for my unnecessary deaths is decision making, but also in a close second place is clearly my aim. So next we're going to talk about ways that you can improve your aim, your positioning, and your decision making. Now I'm on mouse and keyboard and this happens to me from time to time and I have to catch myself getting lazy with my aim mechanics. When it comes to the topic of improving your aim, there's a lot of information out there, tons of drills and experts to help you with all the small mechanical parts of aiming, but for this video I'm going to keep it simple and manageable. There are really only 2 main parts of aiming: how fast and accurately you acquire or flick to a target, and the second part is how well you track that target. When it comes to flicking, you want to pay attention and notice if you're not able to get on target fast enough or if you're over flicking. If you find yourself over flicking and end up going going back and forth tracing the outline of the enemy, the first thing, you can try to lower your sensitivity to see if that helps. But if you don't want to touch your sensitivity, you can consciously practice making smaller adjustments to stay on target. Or you may want to give both a try and see which one feels better for you. To practice this, I like to use very simple drills in Aim Labs, which used to be PC exclusive, but they just launched on the Xbox platform as well. If you're on PlayStation, don't worry, we're getting there. Now, if you don't have access to Aim Labs or you want another method, I typically go into whatever game I'm grinding at the time and load up some private lobbies with bots. If you're on controller, it really helps to practice without aim assist so you can see your raw input and get a more accurate understanding of where you're struggling. Of course, you always want to turn it back on after, unless you want to do the entire mouse and keyboard community a favor and leave it off. So anyway, what is happening for me is that I'm struggling with tracking a target while it's changing directions. So I like to load up a very simple drill in the Voltaic Fundamentals Iron, Bronze, or Silver playlist. There are 3 variations of it called bar long strafes, close long strafes, and kinda close fast strafes. And I intentionally focus on acquiring a target when it's switching directions. And as you can see on screen, I struggle by trying to predict the movement too much rather than reacting, and you can also see that I'm over flicking with my wrist when the target changes directions. Now for you, you really have to figure out if you're struggling with getting on target or staying on target, and practice that one simple thing often. Even when you go into the game, you have to tell yourself consciously that you're there to focus on one specific task and build on it over time. Now the reason that I've picked these drills in Aim Labs is because they help practice both flicking to a target and staying on target, and so it kind of covers the simple version of those bases for me. But again, if you don't have Aim Labs or you don't want to use Aim Labs, go into whatever game that you're playing, load up some bots, put them on the most difficult mode, and consciously focus on either flicking to that bot or staying on target and tracking that bot. If you need to work on tracking and you have the opportunity and you can go into the lobby settings, try to dial up the player health as much as possible to make the time to kill quite a bit longer, forcing you to track and stay on target longer. Now that we've covered aiming, let's jump into the next category, positioning. Again, this can be a complex topic, but I want to keep it simple and actionable for you guys. Majority of the time, if you're out of position, you're either caught out in the open without any cover or a way to get safely back into cover. To fix this, you need to consciously pay attention when you're moving through the map and always be working from cover to cover. It can be a wall, a box, a car, literally anything that you can cover some part of your character with. We want to always be the one with an advantage in a gunfight. And now obviously there will be times where you aren't in cover because you're running from cover to cover, but consciously focusing on moving from cover to cover will decrease the number of times that you get caught out in the open. And if you do get caught, don't stand in the open and try to take that gunfight. If you can, sprint quickly into cover, try to heal yourself, and then re-challenge the gunfight on your terms. Now, the other main part of positioning is the high ground. If you have the opportunity, you always want to have the high ground because it gives you complete control over the fight for 2 reasons. One, almost your entire body is covered because of the angle on the high ground. If you do this properly, they should really only be able to see your head, maybe your shoulders. And 2, it gives you control over the pacing of the gunfight. If you take too much damage, you can always back up, heal, reload, and reset the fight. Now, obviously the high ground is a bit more of a factor in games like Apex or Warzone, really any of those large-scale maps that have more verticality. When it comes to 6v6 arcade shooters like Call of Duty or xDefiant, they typically have smaller maps and don't have as much verticality or different levels in the map. Now, the last thing we have to talk about is decision making. There are so many times I catch myself getting overconfident, over-aggressive, and I end up ego-channeling when I probably shouldn't. So for this section, I want to highlight a few examples in my gameplay and explain what I did versus what I should have done. The first example I have here is sprinting into a gunfight without any knowledge of what's going on or where players are at. If you know there's one or more enemies close or around the corner, instead of full sending into the fight, survey the scene, see if there's a better way to engage, collect information by looking at your minimap or the kill feed. There might be a nice head glitch for you or a way that you can flank them and catch them by surprise. Next, let's look at what happens when you walk into multiple enemies. Now, your first reaction may be to try and take one of them out before you inevitably die, but in most cases, you're actually better by backing off the gunfight, creating space, or repositioning. If you're able to back up and reposition yourself successfully, you may be able to break off that group of enemies into fair 1v1 fights. Or if you do reposition, you may be able to get some backup from your teammates instead of just facing the group of enemies by yourself. Now, you can get away with staying in the fight if you have insane aim and you're playing a game that has a short time to kill, like Call of Duty, but in games like xDefiant, Warzone, or Apex Legends, it's going to be rare that you take out 2 enemies that are both shooting at you. Next, let's talk about ego challenging. Now, there are a few different versions of this. The first and most common one is swinging an enemy enemy that either has cover and you don't, or trying to catch them off guard by re-peeking when you're low health. Again, sometimes this can work, but in most cases, you're better off just repositioning, staying alive to heal up, or taking the fight from a better angle. Now, the other less common ego challenge that people rarely talk about is trying to force a gunfight at a range that your weapon is not built for. For example, if you're running an SMG and you stand there and try to fight somebody at longer ranges who has an AR, LMG, or sniper rifle, you're probably not going to win that fight. Now, we all have that voice in the back of our head that whispers, what if I hit every shot and they miss? But the chances that you're going to consistently pull that off and win that fight are so low. Now, sure, you may be able to pull it off like 2 or 3 times out of 10, but again, we're trying to improve and be more consistent, and it's much more important to play your life and find a better way to take that fight. In this example, if you see somebody sitting at a distance with an assault rifle or sniper, it's a much better idea to find a way to close that gap where you have the advantage with the SMG. This could be backing off and running a flank route, using your abilities, sliding up to cover, literally anything but standing there and ego challenging the fight. Now, on the flip side, if you're running a more long range weapon, you want to avoid getting too close or point blank with people that are running shotguns and SMGs. And a bonus tip, if you want to have better aim, warm up your eyes to ensure they can properly focus on your target. If your eyes aren't focused, aiming becomes much harder. Now, eye warm-ups can be incredibly helpful because not only do they enhance your vision, but it also primes your brain for optimal performance. Just as you would warm up your muscles before physical exercise, warming up your eyes prepares them for the rapid movements and intense focus required for optimal aiming and gameplay. Additionally, eye warm-ups can help stimulate neural pathways between your eyes and brain, and this enhances visual processing speed and overall cognitive function. If you want to watch my eye warm-up video or another video on first-person shooter games, click here.